Alrighty, hi. I will try to do the best I can on what I did for my Bakugou gear. Now, I will state that I eventually did have to actually get the actual cosplay for Bakugou, but I still had to do a lot of alterations. So, it's a really big reason why a lot of people just gone on and make their own Bakugou cosplay. So, I will go into pretty much everything I possibly can on the gear part of it. But do know that on any social media you can put in Bakugo gear outfit, and especially on TikTok but other places they will bring up videos from other cosplayers that may have a more other easier method for you to make Bakugo's uh gear. And also I tried to respond back to your direct comment, but unfortunately it wouldn't let me do it, so we gonna do it this way. So let's go on and get into it. Also, this will be just the gear only. If you want me to do another video on the other stuff, which I'll still do it anyway, so that'll also be coming. Alrighty, I'm gonna keep it to the gear. First off, we're gonna start with the pigtails. Now, the pigtails that I did for Bakugo's pigtails, basically, I took some yarn, or I had a wig and I just kind of like did mini braids if you know how to braid. But if not, you can still just take some strands of wigs or yarn and take 2 to 3 pieces and just keep crisscrossing it till it looks like a braid. That is an option. And as far as for the explosions at the bottom, I used foam. This is mostly part of what I used a lot on this cosplay, but these are foam sheets with adhesive backing. Now I went and found me like a pattern which you can look up on online of Bakugo's explosions, or mainly Bakugo's explosions, and I just basically made the explosion pattern, random explosion pattern, and cut it out. And I took glue gun and just put some glue in there, but I made sure I kept a little bit of the hair not braided up and glued them together. And I made sure that I put something on top that was a little bit heavy just to make sure it dries. Now, as far as the ends, I used rubber bands to tie the ends, and I use bobby pins to just like stick it up in there. But also you can use hairpins. I got these off of Amazon. I think they was like probably like $3 or $4 for a whole pack. And you can glue the ends of the hair onto it to, make it a little bit more secure to put in the hair versus using bobby pins. But that's what. Next thing I did, now these look a little bit worn because I done had these for years. I'm planning to remake some, but also I actually did just crunch these up to make it look a little more realistic. But once again, the foam sheets with the adhesive backing, I got some in the orange and some in the black. Like, once again, you can make your own explosion cut pattern, or you can print it out online off a picture of Bakugo and and make it. But what I did was did the orange part, made that the biggest one. Then I made a half size of cutting this in half, and I made the smaller section. Same thing apply with the black over the top. Ignore the end because it did get worn over time. But I used a different kind of clip, but you can get you something. These are line clips. But you usually see these on the back of hair bows or for beauty supply. They come really super long and you and have the clip in. Sometimes they cost about $3 and have this kind of end. But I use that because I really wanted to have something that have a grip on the back of the to hold it in place. Um, and also I used once again a glue gun, but you can use other type of glue. Cement glue was the other one. So contact cement was another option that you could use, and I glued it on there. You know, of course, let it set. I held on to it, but you could have took something and put it on top to flatten it out and let it dry. Another option is these, but they do have some that come a little bit longer if you can't find that particular clip, and then you just could have glued it onto it and let it set, and that also could help it in place as well. Now, this is the OG mask I had for Bakugou. Basically, I did like the Ninja Turtle version, which basically I took like a black shirt, cut like a thin strip and just basically tied it around my eyes, use like a white paint pen or chalk or something to highlight where my eyes would be, and then just cut out the eyes with some like fabric. Make sure you it's fabric scissors. There is a thing as fabric scissors for you to cut with fabric, and you can make the pattern. Now, I did put like a piece of um I wouldn't say cardboard, but something a little thinner than cardboard to put in the inside to make it, be a little bit more stable. But you can also just, like I said, do the straight up Ninja Turtle method. Don't have to put all the detail into making holes. And this is basically ribbon, or sometimes, I cut more ribbon. Well, originally I wanted to do ribbon, but I ended up cutting more of the shirt and just making some long strips, and of course sewing. I I can sew some, but I would love to do more professional sewing. But if you don't have that option, you can also just find you like a regular ninja mask. They have them in the Dollar Tree. They be in the toy section, a little nothing, or you can even find them on Amazon. Now, I will say this: I do have the actual Bakugou mask. Now, for the actual Bakugou mask, I did get this from Etsy. I don't know if the seller still sells it anymore, and it is kind of pricey. This one was at the time like $40, but you can kind of figure out what kind of progress you want to make in the mask. Now I'm not gonna say that it's still $40 due to inflation, due to tariffs and other stuff. Or you can even look up on Amazon and just find a Bakugo mask to get. But originally I just went to the Ninja Turtle method. So this will be wrapping up the first part, ending with the mask, and then I come back with the next part, which will be the neck piece. So neck piece coming up. Also, a cheap version for the mask also is coming too. So coming up.